The worst horror movie I ever saw was fucking great.
Hello and welcome to This May Hurt a Bit. My name is James Strayer and this is
John C. Myers.
And we are a horror franchise podcast discussing each film in horror franchises. And today we will be discussing Child's Play 2 from 1990. Sorry, Jack. Chucky's back. So says the tagline. Who's Jack?
The Jack in the Box in the cover on the. Yeah. So they're apologizing. They set him up to get murdered just to apologize to him. So it's okay.
Right. As the kids say, mind blown, because I did not put 1 and 1 together, not even 2 and 2. My goodness.
Well, to me, he's always Mr. in the box. Right. I don't know him that well.
Yes. Please. My father's name is Jack. I'm Mr. in the box. No.
Put some respect on my name.
I absolutely remember that tagline from being a kid. And I remember the poster from VHS box covers from 1990, 1991 or so. And it's fantastic. Like that image of Chucky with the giant scissors and the Jack in the Box is perfect. But yeah, this came out a quick 2 years after the original one because they were just like, well, we are firmly in slasher territory with Jason and Michael Myers. I mean, by 90, where were we at with all that?
It's expected at this point. You know, It's like, do you have a slasher villain? We're going to make more of them. It's a money-making thing. It had a more rushed pre-production time, but it did go through a wild adventure in that.
Quintex, I believe.
Yes. Quintex, whatever, because it's QINTEX, but...
So this company Quintex, I had never even heard of them and until looking up stuff about the movie. Yeah. I feel like just a general knowledge of like VHS production companies over the years, I should know, but I've never even heard of Quintex before. They tried to buy out United Artists and they tried to shut down the Child's Play sequel on moral grounds.
Universal Artists had already greenlit David Kirshner said, they said, we're doing number 2. Here we go. Kirshner this time, by the way, was appointed CEO of Hanna-Barbera, like replacing Hanna and Barbera.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's a pretty big deal. But
what a career.
Yeah. I mean, he was still a part of this, though, and has always been. But they were like, yeah, you can do it. And then Quintex, whatever, comes in and is like, no horror stuff. That's morally repugnant. Get rid of it. And they're already pissed because spots on TV advertising the VHS release for Child's Play got pulled because there were complaints about it being too scary. You know, kids getting freaked out by it. And so like, we don't want to do anything with that. All horror just gone.
Yeah. And in the same process, there were problems with the rights. And when Kirshner got the rights back from United Artists, I believe, there was a big bidding war around Hollywood for who got to take on Child's Play. And I love that, of all people, Mr. Hollywood himself, Steven Spielberg, stepped in and said, like, hey, go to Universal. I mean, that's him at the height of his powers, too. Like, he's about ready to roll right into Last Crusade. And he cares about who owns the Killer Doll Chucky series. And that's wonderful.
Well, and it's so funny that it ended up going back to Kirshner. They sold it back to him for like nothing because Quintex, however you want to say it, we'll say Quintex, the merger didn't go through because they weren't able to put forth some financial documentation they need. They ended up shuttering with bankruptcy about 6 months later. The guy, the head dude in charge of this, Christopher Skays, tried skipping out on $700 million in debt, went to Spain, and became one of Australia's most wanted fugitives. And this is the guy going, no, it's not moral to have horror movies.
Right, yeah.
So go to hell, that guy.
It's moral to renege on $700 million in debt.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know.
To just defraud everybody, that's fine. Yeah. But showing a doll that's mad, no thank you.
No.
But yeah, but it ended up working out because they found a home at Universal.
And it is interesting, too, to think of just the way that rights and things like that kind of work. Whereas like Don Mancini may have lost control of the franchise at that juncture. It could have gone to a completely new writer. They could have iced him out completely. I would like to think that Kirshner would have had some sway, but who knows really? And, you know, we'll get into it obviously as we digest the whole series, but Mancini being there from day one all the way up through right now, it could have gone a completely different way.
This one was really a reteaming of the people that perhaps felt wronged by the first one.
By Mr. Tom Holland, perhaps?
By Tom Holland, yeah, because you had Kirshner back, you have John Lafia. He's directing this one. He wrote one of the drafts of the other one, and then Kirshner, of course, had butted heads with Tom Holland, and so that actually comes through in the script. In the character of Tommy,
yes.
the other doll named Tommy, but they were super stoked to be working together with each other without that oversight.
Right. And there were, different drafts that went through, like some of them were a little bit more like darker and more gothic, with Andy being in a childhood asylum. Which,
yeah, that was like built over a series of tunnels.
Yes, love that. And like a whole bunch of kids would be coming out to take on Chucky, which sounds a little like Dream Warriors to me, even though we haven't gotten there yet.
That version was actually done by Mark Patrick Carducci, who was one of the co-writers of Pumpkinhead.
That's it.
So we almost had some crossover there, but
yes,
they did this thing where they were like, and they still do this occasionally, where they just sort of farmed out, hey, a bunch of people write scripts, because they were still not real keen on Mancini. They're like, I don't know. Yeah. This has got a limited run up time. We got to just get this script on. We got to go with someone that we know. So they said, hey, everyone that wants to write a script. Yeah. They kind of are doing that currently. Like, I don't know if you saw the news where there's another G.I. Joe movie coming out, and there's we're having a script. Yeah, by the exorable Max Landis. This is 2 Landis shitting on, like 2 episodes in a row of shitting on Landis. And that's good for me. But yeah, him and Danny McBride, which I'm sure if you're Danny McBride, you're like, hey, thanks.
Yeah,
but,
thanks
whatever.
For putting me in a headline with that guy.
With that guy, and for having faith in my ability. But anyway, but yeah, they went through a few, but they still ended up, I think, essentially with one that they worked on.
Well, in the end, that they're just going to pick and choose bits from scripts. So like in the G.I. Joe version right now, Danny McBride is like kind of screwed into being like, if I have to take a co-writing credit with Max Landis, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah. So they ended up going with...
Sorry, this is not the G.I. Joe cast here, but I just thought to myself, it just occurred to me, like, if that's a Paramount or Warner Brothers picture right now, can you imagine the Ellisons being in charge of a G.I. Joe movie? Yeah. This is not going to go well.
No.
Yeah.
Turns out all the G.I. Joes are actually in the IDF.
Right.
But they ended up going with the script from Don Mancini, or at least he gets the writing credit for it. So
yeah. Another important person on this film that jumped out to me was none other than Steven Kazapsky, who was the DP, and he was the DP on, some of the best Tim Burton movies. So he shot Ed Wood, which looks absolutely gorgeous, and it's black and white photography. You got Edward Scissorhands, which is all dreamy and maybe even childlike, and one of my favorite films of all time, Batman Returns, with all that gothic photography. And that would have been like right in this era too, because all of that is right around 1990.
Yeah. So like basically after this, he just did this killer run with Tim Burton. And I think some of that, I don't want to say campy, although this movie leans a little bit of camp, but like wide angle lenses where it's close ups and it's kind of almost fisheye. Yeah. It's this heightened, more cartoonish kind of take on the whole thing. I think some of that's also because when they're in the good guys warehouse or the factory or whatever, how everything is just this bright primary color.
Love that. Yeah. Well, and also like those great shots of Chucky burying the Tommy doll, like a classic, like man in the graveyard, covering up a body. Like that's a very heightened Ed Wood looking thing.
Jumping ahead real quick, that was also the last appearance of Ed Gale. Is that overhead shot of him burying, because Ed Gale, Lafia did not really want to use Ed Gale.
Fair.
The animatronics, they tried to build it up production wise, so the animatronics had a little bit more lead time, and people weren't waiting around for the dolls to get animated. And he actually put Kevin Yeager, the guy behind Chucky, in charge of it, but then kind of took over. Not out of any like Kevin Yeager was screwing up, more just like, this is my movie. I want to have control. So they worked on it together. And that was, of course, the first of Kevin Yeager's cursed directing career. Because I forgot he did Bloodlines, Hellraiser Bloodlines.
Oh, good grief.
He took his name off of Hellraiser Bloodlines.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I am so glad you brought that up. Man. Wow.
I was like, because his name sounded really familiar. I'm like, I bet it's just rattling around in there from other special effects stuff. No.
Yes. It's Kevin Allen Smithy Yeager on Bloodlines. Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's more common in something that's very effects heavy for someone who is in charge of those effects to take on what they call the second unit. If you've got in your schedule 50 solid shots of Chucky walking around by himself, you know, the director might be like, I'm going to go work with the human actors. Like, let's get you what you need just to do the technical side.
Yeah.
And then you get a second unit director credit. And that's all well and good, really, unless you're a director who's like, no, I need to absorb and look at everything.
Right. Yeah. Because this was heavily storyboarded and he really wanted to make sure that, you know, this was his big show and wanted part, and that's fine.
Yeah. I don't fault either side. I think both sides, either way you want to go right there is relevant.
And Yeager had positive things to say about the experience. So it sounded to work out. Less positive things were said by his wife, Catherine Hicks, who was not invited back for this movie.
Right.
So she's like, I'd show up to bring him lunch sometimes. And it's like, hey, everybody.
Yes.
It's still me.
Catherine Hicks being the mom in the first movie. Nary to be seen.
Yeah. Brad Dourif brought up a good point in an interview. He said, if she was back, it'd be the same movie. But if it's Andy with someone else, then it's a different movie. It's like, yeah, that's fair. Because it is, this one is a lot more Andy focused, which I feel like the focus shifts more towards Catherine Hicks in the first one.
Agreed.
This one really stays on Andy.
Yeah. Do I want to watch 7 movies where Andy shuffled around to a new family and nobody believes him over and over and over again? Of course not. But I think for a sequel, it makes sense for him to be placed in a foster home where he is yet again having to convince everybody that it was actually Chucky coming to life and killing people. That makes sense because obviously the moment the mom finds out, like, what do you mean Chucky's back? Okay, fortify the house.
Get some open flames going.
Like, that's where we're at. Not as fun.
This one is a little bit more like a movie I love, but stresses me out immensely, called Where is the Friend's House? Iranian drama movie by Abbas Kiarostami, which is about a little kid who just accidentally goes home with his friend's homework. And his friend's going to get in super trouble if he doesn't return the homework to him, but he doesn't know where he lives. So he just goes off to try to find his friend, but no one listens to him. No one listens to the kid ever. And it is incredibly stressful for me to watch. It drives me crazy, but it's really good. But this is kind of like that, where he's just like, no, the doll's alive. His mom is now in an insane asylum because she believes him.
Yeah.
And they just went, no, you're nuts. And no one will believe this kid. No, but it's not even that no one will believe this kid. It's that no one will even address his trauma or his, if you even think it's an illness, his illness at all. They're just like, suck it up.
Right.
Shut up.
Yeah.
And it's really frustrating at times.
And sometimes I bump up against that when I'm watching a movie where it's a what a misunderstanding that the audience knows is clearly not the case. And it can be frustrating to watch that for too long. Now, luckily, they get rid of that roughly 45 minutes in, you know, and then when the parents are getting attacked, if it was right up to the end, I think I would have a bigger problem with it.
Yeah. I mean, they navigate it well enough. They put it a lot more on the dad of the foster home, of the foster family.
You mean Mr. Beef?
Yes.
That's what I got excited about.
Yes. Garrett Graham plays the foster father that adopts Andy. And I love, and partially because of his role as Beef in Phantom of the Paradise, which is another movie that I love dearly. But he's great in that. I mean, he's in a lot of horror movies, Terror Vision, Chopping Mall.
Yeah.
Great character actor. But they put most of that like angry disbelief on him. Like his wife, Joanne, is nice.
Yes.
Is like, I'm trying, even when they're picking him up from the orphanage. The dad this kid sounds like a hassle.
Since you two have done so well with so many kids, we were hoping you might foster him until his mother recovers.
There's always room for one more. What's that supposed to mean?
Well, he seems normal enough, but how has all this affected him?
I don't want a kid that's got problems. I just want the child version of flavored coffee. Just no frills, just no nothing. I don't want anything to do with this
kid. Which is funny because they take in Kyle.
Yeah.
The teenage girl who, like, she's written in such a way that she's kind of like a punk or whatever. And she's troublemaker. And so clearly they've had a little bit of a tough go with her. But I suppose that's average teenage angst as compared to childhood, a doll tried to kill me.
Then a doll tried to kill me. Yeah. I mean, it's also kind of funny because where is Chris Sarandon in all this? He just went, no, they're nuts.
Yeah.
Lock her up. Right. I need to cover my ass on my job.
Yes.
Throw her in the clink and just get rid of the kid.
Well,
Who
didn't
cares?
they? I mean, for what it's worth, did they not touch on that a little bit at the end of the first one? And we talked about it just like, well, who's going to believe me? And he's just like, we're not saying a freaking word. I'm out. So,
and that's basically what happened because he's like, I don't care what happens to you as a family.
Yes.
I do not care.
Right.
Yeah. My car is ruined because of Chucky. I got to deal with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get the sense with the couple that the mom is a lot more, I can't have a kid of my own. I want to take care of kids. And the dad is just like, whatever.
Right.
I hate this.
Yeah.
Because they make a reference of like having multiple children come through there.
Right.
How?
Yeah.
It just is like, this one sucks too. His hair's brown. I don't like this. Send it back.
Well, when they set it up, I thought that Andy was going to be taken to a house that had like, I don't know, 6 or 7 foster kids. And maybe that was just my incorrect read, but it just seemed like it was this is a mom and dad who just want to open their hearts and their homes to wayward children. And then you get there and it's just like one black clad teenage girl. And that's
right.
it.
And it's that also, what I was saying about like no one cares is the fact that there's a good guy's doll there.
Yes.
Like why? That's an easy thing to be like, oh, this kid is really upset about this. You know what I can do is make sure that that's not there. But they're like, look at it. Love this thing. You have to love this doll.
I really enjoyed the reveal because I didn't see it coming, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it was a well shot bit of, I'm going to pull something down from the closet and then, here it comes just tumbling down literally on top of you. Named Tommy Holland.
He's not evil. He's not an evil doll. He's fine. The real evil doll, for whatever reason, has been retrieved from police evidence.
I love this.
And rebuilt.
Yeah.
They got rid of the idea that the company was really like cratering because of all this. The bad publicity, people stop getting these dolls, partially to cover up for the fact that there's all those dolls in the factory being made. Also, because why would you keep making them if no one was buying them? Instead, what they did was they put like, this isn't bad publicity. So what we did is we went and got the doll to do a diagnostic test on it, basically to make sure that no one did anything evil. Like there's a suggestion from the Toady second in command that
a lot of people are saying that some joker here at the company must have tampered with the doll's voice cassette. Hi, I'm Chucky. I'm the Lakeshore Strangler. Now I'm going to kill you. something like that.
The movie opens with that Chucky being put back together. They just have his head, which apparently is enough to contain whatever's left of Charles Lee Ray.
Yeah. Where does the soul live? In the heart or the head?
I don't know.
The head in this case.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that
fine. Answers that. Yeah. I mean, I'm satisfied. I was more upset to learn because I'd commented last time that the Chucky doll did not have teeth until Brad Dourif took it over and it had teeth.
Oh, yeah.
No, the doll has teeth.
Yeah.
I kind of I just glanced over that at the end because you see it, but why would you give that doll those teeth? That's terrifying. Yes, but they do fix him back up. And then in trying to reinsert his eye, because it's mostly all new except for the head. And they try to put new eyes in and there's a malfunction that just causes Chucky to come back to life and a technician to die.
Yes.
And this was more in line with what they wanted to do in the first place with Chucky.
Oh, right.
They wanted to have a Johnny Five type situation.
Yeah.
Rather than a voodoo curse.
Okay. Aside from the fact that Chucky attempts twice to perform the ritual, I don't think that the word voodoo is spoken in this movie. They're just sort of moving on from that.
Yeah. There's a quick throwaway line that Grace Poole, the head of the orphanage, played by Grace Zabriskie.
Yes.
Sarah Palmer. It's always nice to see Grace Zabriskie, but it's always nice to see Grace Zabriskie playing a regular person.
Yes.
Because she plays such characters all the time.
Right.
Such big wackadoos. That when she's a regular person, oh, yeah, you have that capability. Yeah. All right, that's cool.
And this would have been right during Twin Peaks, too. Or maybe just before, if you want to get technical, but right around the same era.
She does give a little throw-off line, reminding everyone about the Lakeshore Strangler.
Said it was possessed by the soul of Charles Lee Ray.
Who?
The Lakeshore Strangler. He murdered a dozen people in this series of ritual voodoo killings.
which kind of changes his background a little bit because he wasn't strangling people for voodoo. He just liked strangling people, but also was into voodoo.
Yeah, you can have more than one hobby.
Yeah.
I mean, strangling and voodoo.
Yeah, I love painting miniatures and heroin. I'm not painting miniatures to shoot up more heroin.
Yes, exactly. Can you do both at the same time?
No.
All of a sudden, Warhammer can just get together and solve their problems with talking, man.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's all. I don't know how to be on heroin. I how to jokingly be on heroin. I feel like I'm doing like a Foster Brooks drinking thing.
Luckily, I do not know either. But that was one of those moments where, not that I'm against actors getting credit or anything like that, but I kind of wish that I glanced away for a moment and didn't see Grace Zabriskie pop up. And so I could be extra excited when she walked on stage. But yeah, it's always a pleasure to see her.
Yeah.
Same hair. Same big ass hair. I love it. But no, what I did also love about the opening and a walk and talk in the first bits, a recap a little bit of the first movie, but I just really enjoyed the fact that this giant corporation, I mean, if your killer is a children's doll and a giant corporation is in charge of that, they're gonna hear about it. And I love the fact that they didn't try to hand wave that away. And in fact, like, I didn't need like corporate espionage going on or anything like that. And like, I'm glad it fell away eventually. But to start off like that, we're just like, yeah, we acknowledge all the stuff that happened back here.
It fits into the more satirical look at
there you go.
Consumerism and merchandising and that kind of stuff by having the head of the corporation be like, this sucks. This is just a headache. I'm not actually concerned this thing's bad. I just don't want to hear about it. And then like basically stepping over the body of the technician that's just killed where he's like, ugh.
Where do I know that younger guy from? And I swear I looked it up so that I would have this answer, but nothing rang a bell to me. And maybe I just skimmed too quickly. So I'm asking.
That is
John IMDb.
Yeah, Greg German or German, I don't know how it's pronounced, but again, like a character actor that's been in so many things.
Playing the same type of character a lot.
Usually, he's a Weasley corporate guy.
It's like he should be in RoboCop, but I don't think he is.
But he's probably the big thing he's probably most recognizable from for a certain generation is he was in Ally McBeal.
Maybe I saw him on the commercials of that or something. Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay. Yeah, so I don't mind him and the corporate angle of this. I am glad that they move on from it though. I did like this guy's death scene for what it's worth too, because it is a full on like you got a little Michael Myers from being in the back of the car, and you got a little Black Christmas with the plastic bag over the face, and boy, Chucky's strong. Not going to nitpick it, but sure, fine.
Well, he's able to tie him up in the car without being seen
with a jump rope.
Because it has a little squirt pistol. We find out it's a squirt pistol, but he's holding it to his face. Because at the start, I'm like, why would there be a gun that small for Chucky? Yes. Why would you? But no, it's he got one over on me too. But the head of the company's like, just get rid of it. I don't care. So he takes it all with him for some reason. And he's going to buy alcohol for some hot date he has that night and leaves Chuck in the car. And Chucky takes that moment to call up the orphanage and be like, oh, I'm trying to reach Andy Barclay. Because he's like overheard that that's where he's at, that he's in the system, and calls up the orphanage and is like, I'm trying to reach Andy Barclay. And like, oh, who's this? Oh, it's his uncle Charles. Oh, well, that's not in our files anywhere. And you've never been mentioned, but
sure,
I'm sure you're on the level. So here's all the information about where a child is at. Chucky now has that information and then kills the guy. He hasn't strangled in a long time, so I bet that felt good.
Oh, that's true. That was a nice strangulation.
Yeah, man, I missed this. I've been stabbing, hitting with hammers.
Well, it's hard to get your little doll hands around somebody's neck.
Right. So maybe the bag thing was a new thing, and he's like, this actually makes it way easier.
Is that
what have I been doing?
I mean, I'm sure that there's some sort of technical, like it's asphyxiation or something like that, but in the strangulation family.
Yeah, ask David Carradine.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Don't forget your lemon. But yeah, he takes this guy out, and of course, like, you know, Chucky likes to assault people in cars because, you know, you're obviously trying to keep a car moving at the exact same time. Makes his way to the foster home, and I did love that he immediately dispatches with Tommy.
Hi, I'm Tommy.
Shut up, you idiot.
I'd like to be hugged. 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 I'd like to be hugged.
Hug
I'd like
this.
To be hugged. I'd like to be hugged. I'd like
Because there is some more fun stuff with Chucky in this movie. They're figuring out his personality even more, and I just enjoy that his first mode is to, I got to take out this other asshole doll right now. It seems just pointlessly vindictive and mean, and I like that.
Well, as we discussed, it seems like that's part of the filmmakers working out some
Right.
stuff. But I think it's also like, you know, the audience wants to see Chucky. So it's like, yeah, take down that pretend Chucky. We
Yeah.
want to see the real one.
Right.
But yeah, he beats the crap out of him. And then, just buries him in the backyard. And I love that it is this big, like, gothic scene of that.
Right. Yeah.
With him laughing. And but Chucky's a lot more expressive in terms of a personality in this one, but also in terms of what he can do, because as we mentioned, not only had the animatronics improved, but they figured out how to do them a little bit better. Instead of having Brad Dourif record his lines after the fact and try to match them up with the doll, they did it ahead of time, and they would play it back slowed down so they could really animate the face to enunciate the words better and stuff like that, and then just sped it up and playback.
And I think that makes for a more nuanced performance from Brad Dourif too, so that he like certain lines just sound a little bit different. Because it's in the hands of somebody as skilled as Dourif, you get those moments like when he says, "How's it hanging, Phil?" And there's just something about the way that he says that makes me laugh so much. And so you got performance meeting that technical need to make something so perfect.
Yeah, it works out a lot better. I think it would be so frustrating to try to like match your lips to what a doll is saying. So
yeah. So there's more focus. I mean, also when you're going into a part 2 and you know that Brad Dourif is your guy, you can write to his strengths. And so you get more and more of these incredible one-liners, maybe not incredible, but fun one-liners. You get the Chucky cackle for the first time, which I feel like will probably go through. I don't think he laughed quite like that in the first movie, but as
not to that extreme,
his laugh is a famous part of his character. Like I feel like between that and even the animatronics making his face all pissed off, they did such a good job of making all of his expressions, like when he's running at somebody, when he's angry. He got all these kind of new facial expressions in this movie, and it just made me laugh every time his face would contort when he picked up a knife and ran at somebody. Yeah,
in the interim, Kevin Yeager had started doing stuff with the Crypt Keeper on Tales from the Crypt, and so learned a lot from that as well, because that's a very performance and talking heavy animatronic. They were finally able to improve the Chucky walking, which is part of why they stopped using Ed Gale. But like that, the shot of him emerging from the closet in the school, whipping the ruler against his hand, that took like 12 puppeteers to do.
And a solid day just to get that one shot. And it's an unbroken shot, I think. Yeah. So it's just like they just did it over and over again for 12 hours. Movie making, folks.
Yeah.
But yeah. And just because the angle on the camera is so good too, he looks so ominous coming out of the thing. Now, how does he murder the teacher? Hits her with a ruler a few times, I guess. So, well, okay. So the teacher, Miss Sparkle Motion,
Beth Grant, who is a character actress, delivers the famous Sparkle Motion line in Donnie Darko, and then also has a chilling turn as a relationship expert in the horrifying Steve Guttenberg film Don't Tell Her It's Me. She's the one that makes out with the Recessa Annie.
There we go. Yeah.
Dude, oh man, that is a rough one.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, but she wasn't sure if she wanted to do this, and she actually called her friend Dinah Madoff and was like, they're asking me to be in a Chucky movie. Should I do it? And she was like, have you seen the first one? I'm in it.
Yeah.
Go do it. Right. But no, she's great as the teacher, and again, is an adult that wants nothing to do with Andy.
Yeah.
Because the kids are all being mean to him because he's the new kid. And it gives I love this kiss off line. One of the kids is bothering him and he says,
Get lost, microchip.
Am I boring you, Andy?
No, miss.
Kettlewell.
Kettlewell.
I have precious little patience for disruptive students,
But he just left.
especially new students whose utmost concern should be getting on my good side.
I really like how incredibly stupid and straightforward it is when the teacher is looking through the homework, and the thing that makes her upset with Andy that Chucky has done is writing very simply, very effectively, "Fuck you, bitch,"
Yeah.
on the homework. That's so dumb, but it made me laugh because it's Chucky saying it. And he can get away with it.
I'm not sure what his goal was
I
there.
know,
Like,
I think
he's trying. He's like, well, what's going to happen is he's going to get detention, and
Yeah.
they'll leave him alone in here, and then I can get him.
Right.
Because Chucky has followed him to school.
Yes.
One day, he knows that there's a Chucky in the toy cabinet.
Right.
So when the teacher's yelling at him, she sees him eyeballing the doll. I was like, no toys. And of course, manhandles Chucky to throw him in the closet. And you, as the audience, know don't do that.
Nope.
To young Charles. Andy dips out. She goes in there like looking for Andy. Goes in the closet. Chucky attacks her with a air pump. And I think the idea is that he stabs her with it and then squeezes it, so there's like an embolism happens in there, something like that.
Bloodstream type of thing.
Yeah, I don't know, because it seems like, a wimpy thing to get stabbed by, but then she's down on the ground and he walks forward with a ruler. I'm assuming it has a metal edge on the side, and then just beats the crap out of her.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else left school so quickly. Because that happens like immediately.
Yeah. I don't know. You get all those fun Chucky facial expressions and the walking bit and all that kind of thing. So even if the final kill shot doesn't quite work for me, like the rest of it is still so fun.
Alex has escaped home, which we should probably mention that it is the same kid playing Alex.
Yes.
It's still Alex Vincent.
Yeah.
And he's still good. He has like the character himself. He's shed some of that childlike innocence. He's been through the character's been through some awful stuff, but apparently on set too, because Alex was more of a seasoned actor at that point, it was a little bit harder to get some of like genuine kid reactions.
Oh, funny.
They had to do things like break bottles to get him to like scaredly look in a direction they wanted, or just randomly shout at him through a megaphone, which
Yep.
Cool.
Here we go.
Yeah. Movie making.
Yeah.
But he is run home because he was afraid of Chucky. So he just escaped from school and ran home. The parents are none too pleased about this. And so they're like, the dad had already thrown what he thought was Tommy into the basement. He's like, I'm tired of dealing with this crap. They have a standoff. He's like, open the door, go see that Tommy's down there. And Andy won't. Andy's defiant.
Yeah.
He's like, no way. And then the dad finally does. And there's Chucky's down there. They didn't have it, but it would have been great if they closed the door and then Chucky's like, because he had to haul ass to get home.
For sure. Yeah. But this sequence really, it does highlight where Andy's gone, because Andy is much more assertive and he has something to actually do. He's not a slasher movie victim who's constantly running from Chucky. No, he goes into the basement on this one to kill Chucky. And there's a great moment that I feel like is just mirroring some of the early effects shots in the first one, where Chucky walks in to turn on the stove and you just see the hands. I swear there's a moment where they're trying to mirror that bit and you realize for half a second later, it's like, oh, that's Andy's hands as he's going through the drawers, pulls out an electric knife, a meat slicer. And I was just like, hell yeah, kid. Like you're facing Chucky head on with a blade. Like that's pretty fun.
Because the only person, as we said, the only person that seems to believe him or is at least sympathetic to him at all is Kyle. And they have a couple of like cute moments of hanging out. But yeah, he's like, I know Chucky's down there. I'm going to go fuck him up. Already Chucky has made himself known to Alex at one point, tying him up to his bed to try to do the soul swapping ceremony. That's still the main thing that propels Chucky is fear of being trapped in that body. And is only stopped because Kyle is snuck out for the night and is sneaking back in and sneaks through Andy's window.
Yes.
But so he's going to go get Chucky down in the basement, and Chucky, of course, gets the drop on him and they fight, and that awakens the dad, who comes down and of course is freaked out because this is a emotionally and mentally unstable child with a electric knife.
Yes.
So that's justifiably freaked out, and Chucky trips him on the stairs, which I thought was maybe a little throwback to The Living Doll, the Twilight Zone episode.
Oh, sure.
Which you can hear more about on our Patreon.
There you go.
But then Chucky reveals himself to Phil.
How's it hanging, Phil?
So Chucky, trips him up. Phil falls, breaks his neck, and they achieve this shot. And just like, I love these just classic movie making techniques where they just put Phil on the ground with his neck in kind of a weird way. And then they just hoisted him up by his feet and then ran it back in reverse. And so that's like how you get the fall, the weird neck snap, because it does look very uncanny, like when he falls and like breaks his neck. Yeah. But it's super effective to me. And I just love that old kind of stuff.
The sound helps it sell it as well, I think.
Yeah. So Rip Phil.
Rip Phil. And while Joanne has been essentially in Andy's corner because Phil has regularly been like, this kid sucks. No one told me that raising a child was going to require effort. I'm not interested in that.
Right.
I just want to have a child and then it just hangs out.
Go.
But she's now like, get away from me. I don't, you did this to my husband. Go to hell. He gets sent back to the orphanage. And Kyle has kind of prepped him for this because Kyle has been in and out of foster homes and is like, hey, you can only count on yourself, kid.
Yeah.
Don't take it so bad. And Andy like takes his lumps because he's on his way out. He's like, hey, oh yeah, Chucky's still there. So watch out for him.
Sure.
He's out.
Yeah.
Kyle outside sneaking another cigarette, bemoaning Andy's situation, swinging on a swing and kick something. What is that? Oh, she finds Tommy and she is just thrown out the Chucky doll because she's like, this caused problems. I'm just throwing this out.
Yeah.
But then finding Tommy and finding his face all screwed up, she's like, wait a minute, and goes, checks the trash can. Chucky's gone.
Joanne is found at her sewing machine. And there's a moment where Kyle puts her hand on Joanne's shoulder and spins her around. That's got to be right out of Psycho. Like when they turn around Mother in the basement.
There's a lot of little throw off things. Like right after that scene when Chucky attacks her, he kind of rises behind her under a sheet, which is a little Michael Myers thing.
Yep.
But yeah, then they fight for a bit and he gets the drop on her with a knife and immediately they're in the car.
Yes.
That math of like how you navigate, like, do you have her carry you as the doll and you have the knife to your throat? Because how do you keep that threat going while you're in motion?
I really do love that shot of her running out and it's just the doll on her back, but the arm is putting the knife to her neck. And it's to me, it's a play on when someone has a monster on their face and they're just like rocketing around.
The Oscar caliber performance.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of just cute.
It's just sort of evil Yoda. Yeah.
Right.
He's forcing her to take him to the orphanage to go get Andy. And I like how she's already over it.
Mm-hmm. How much further till we get to the kid?
A ways.
Step on it.
What's the rush?
If I don't get out of this body soon, I'll be trapped in here.
So they get back to the orphanage and very quickly dispatch with Grace Zabriskie. I mean, there's like a little bit of tension, but not much. And you just know that she's on her way out pretty quickly. And,
again, it's like this is the second saddest death. I think Joanne's the first one, but like people that actually like tried to connect with Andy, like sympathetic characters, sympathetic adults that Chucky's just laying waste to.
Yes. Yeah. So we get rid of her pretty quickly. And then it's on to the doll factory for the third act. And even though this movie is a blessed 84 minutes long, I genuinely really do like this last bit, but it does kind of go on and on to me a little bit.
Much like the first one, the final chase kind of slows things down because the mystery's all gone and it's kind of just set up to find. Although there's a fun little car chase. Kyle stops the car, suddenly sending Chucky flying through the windshield.
And then he flips her off.
Yeah. And then he says,
"You goddamn women drivers!"
Which is upsetting because murder, whatever. I don't like that he has bad opinions. Yeah. That really kind of hurt me because I respected him so much.
Yeah.
But no, he's canceled.
Let's cancel his Twitter account.
Stick to murdering, buddy.
Right.
He's secrets Andy away onto a Chicago Sun-Times newspaper truck.
Right.
She has to chase him down. But then they end up at the factory.
Yeah. Which also appears in Terminator 2.
Oh, wow.
Same location, dressed very differently. Yeah, I do like the look of the factory because we're into this, like, as you said before, like, I love all the colors. It's just walls and walls. I feel like it's pretty inexplicable why you would stack up these gigantic walls of Chucky dolls, but fine. I'm okay with that.
Talk about another horror throwback. I mean, that whole trying to escape through those things becomes this whole hedge maze from the Shining sequence.
There you go. Yeah.
But yeah, it is creepy. It is very uncanny that there's just all these faces of the dolls.
Sure.
Looking like your attacker chasing you. But yeah, so they get back in there, and well, just Chucky has gotten Andy there and does the ceremony too late. And I love that. I love that it's just
sure.
Because the rules have been very like, just if you're too long in this body, not like you have 3 days, you have whatever.
Right.
It doesn't seem like that the answer is now that he is human. He's just going to be this weird doll human hybrid, which brings up some cool body horror stuff in there as well.
For
because
sure.
what does that mean? And particularly later when he rips off his own arm.
Yeah. So yeah, without going step by step through the final chase necessarily, there is one night watchman because we need a little bit more cannon fodder for this sequence, and I love how they dispatch with him. I think it's freaking great. I mean, it's goofy as hell, but he gets trapped on the conveyor belt, essentially just as the dolls are entering the, I guess you'd just call it the eye placement.
The eye station, yeah.
The eye station. And a couple of little doll eyes get punctured right through his face. Having just talked about the Stuart Gordon Dolls movie, also on our Patreon, it did make me think of the cover of that movie with the holding the little doll's eyes off to the side.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that guy's departure. And then, yeah, there's a whole bunch of just running around on the conveyor belts. There's a little bit of that whole like video game start, stop, wait till a smasher goes down, run underneath it type of stuff. That's fine.
Star Wars Episode 2. Yeah.
Yes, that's fine. But yeah, at one point, Chucky does get his arm stuck underneath a gate. And his way out of that is to just rip his own hand off, go find a scalpel somewhere. And I do love that he just stabs himself in the stump to make like an Ash style chainsaw arm, only with a little knife.
Yeah, which I mean, okay, yeah, because it is like, all right, so you're trapped in this weird body, you're pissed off, you've just 127 hours, your own arm off,
right?
Just through brute force of will.
Yeah,
this has got to take a lot of time, Chucky.
Yeah.
But I guess he's like, whatever. I'm stuck here, so I got all the time in the world. Yeah, puts a knife in a vise, takes off the handle, jams his stump over it. But then when it comes back to it, the sleeve is taped up around it. Why didn't you just tape it to begin with? Which I'm sure there was a shot of him being like, oh, damn. Yeah,
right.
Could have done that.
I think it's made by horror fans, so they're just like, it would be badass.
Because it's awesome. That's why. Yeah.
Right.
But it's I mean, Chucky just commits to the bit and blows it the whole time, like frequently in the scene, because he does that. And then when they're distracted by something else, he rolls up on a doll stand like that he's one of the dolls in production to hide being there, and they immediately get him because of that. Because he's like, haha, here I am. And they just press a button and he gets stapled to the stand.
I love that.
And sent back into the arm attachment machine.
Right.
And I sympathize with that. When you think you're going to do something cool, it's going to look cool. And then no, you look like a jackass.
Yep. Yeah. So, but what comes out of that is kind of awesome looking. This disgusting looking, like body horror, Thulu, The Thing, mishmash of doll pieces.
Yeah.
And
which again doesn't make any sense why you have 9 more arms when it just puts on 2, but that's fine. It's still awesome looking.
Yes, it's great. And then, we kind of mirror the previous movie where he just keeps coming back.
He just does not stop.
And that's fun. If they keep with that theme, I think it could be a recurring gag that I'll enjoy. Especially if it gets more and more ridiculous. Well,
that's the thing. Yeah, they do heighten it up here because it's not just like, well, we shot him and then we stabbed him, then we set on fire. It's he gets sent back up to that thing and just arms jammed all over his body. Then he gets covered in molten plastic.
Yes.
Which is pretty great. Then gets exploded like Yaphet Kotto in Live and Let Die. Right. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. They finally take him out in the machine from whence he came, and then they walk out, kind of happy ending. And let's not gloss over Kyle here, because do you think that she rises to the level of final girl? Andy's our final boy.
Yeah.
But she is kind of like maybe a B-level final girl.
Yeah, because I mean, she doesn't really, because she's not specifically the victim, or the aim of the monster.
Right.
But she is like, yeah, she's tough and she comes into her own, but also learns to care a little bit.
Yes, she does.
She actually softens up as the movie goes on towards Andy. But so it's more of like more of like the Chris Sarandon role, where it's like, whatever, I don't believe you. And then it's like, oh, all right, I'll just sell you down the road later.
Yeah.
But I do like her. That is Christine Elsey. I like her as Kyle. Like I knew her from TV acting. I think she was on 90210, or I know she was on 21 Jump Street. But yeah, she's fun in this, and I like that. We talked about the crazy production of this movie and the backstory just to get the rights back, and they again try to do we're going to destroy this doll so we can't make a sequel.
Yes, yeah. But
they did actually. There is a version that played on TV. It was scrapped from the theatrical version, where basically all that plastic goop gets sort of recycled into the doll making process, and they make a new face, and then it evilly smiles at the end.
Yeah.
And that was on like the televised version because they had to cut other stuff like, the murders for time. So they added that. But that's not in this one. As far as we know, Chucky's dead. There's no like the close up eye opens kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
Which I'm kind of for, because in this case, when you have a more specific, these are two movies of following this kid getting terrorized by a doll, not just sort of this general maniac running around.
Yeah.
That you're rooting more for Andy than you are for Chucky at this point. So you're like, yeah, I don't want him to have to go through all that just for like, no, more of that. So
right. Yeah.
I mean,
he does.
He's going to. Yeah.
Yes.
But give me that moment of victory.
Right. Yeah. The moment of them walking out of the doll factory together in a big like crane shot. Yeah. We need a little bit of victory there.
Which, I mean, at the same time, like they in fact say,
where are we going?
Home.
Where's home?
Andy, I have no idea.
They're just getting tossed back into the foster care system, and
That's
who knows
true.
what the hell's going to happen to them.
Right.
It's presented as kind of a sunny, like, hooray, we beat the bad guy, but it's also like, yeah, the future's not going to be great. It's less. I mean, it's a much more triumphant note than the first one ends on.
That's true. It ends on his freeze frame of his head,
freeze frame of
his head, his face. Right.
The face holder.
All right, let's honor our dead. Unnamed male technician, played by Doug Pugsley, electrocuted in Chucky revival. Mattson, played by Greg German, suffocated with plastic bag by Chucky while driving. Miss Elizabeth Kettlewell, played by Beth Grant, beaten to death with a ruler. Phil Simpson, played by Garrett Graham, neck broken when tripped on stairs. Joanne Simpson, played by Jane Augeter, throat slit in chair. Grace Poole, played by Grace Zabrinsky, stabbed in stomach with a knife. Unnamed male technician 2, played by Vincent Malocci, eyes gouged out by machine. I definitely realize that this dates me generationally, but since we've talked about this era before of Siskel and Ebert reviews, if you have a chance, it is well worth looking up on YouTube the Siskel and Ebert review of this, because it's only 2.5 minutes. It's them bickering as always, but there's a great bit where Ebert just has to say, as a film critic, I can say that this is a really well done, artistically made film. As a human being, it's wretched and morally repugnant and like that kind of thing. It's still in his era of just not appreciating horror.
Oh yeah.
That he gets out of eventually, but again, and then Siskel is nowhere near that level of praise, of course. But it's a funny 2.5 minutes to just like go where the top film reviewers in America at the time, how they felt about Chucky.
Well, Ebert championed the first one a bit. I mean, champion is the right word, but Ebert gave the first one a pretty positive review.
Yep.
Which there's some speculation that's why the Chicago Sun-Times truck is in there as a little like, hey, thanks, buddy.
Oh, funny.
Like you gave us some critical cover.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if that's true or not.
Sure.
But it's a step up for them because they didn't threaten anyone or like organize a mailing campaign.
It's been 10 years. They're kind of just like, well, slashers are here to stay.
Yeah, there's not much we can do at this point.
Right.
Please just keep sending letters to Betsy Palmer.
Yes.
The Pamela Voorhees. That's all. She just wanted this harassment campaign against her.
Just to keep going. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I like this one. I thought it was I don't want to say it's necessarily better than the first one, but I think they do a good job of like, I mean, to me, the big thing is like Chucky coming into his own as like both technically and from a performance standpoint. Like I'm excited that they kind of got Brad Dourif to kind of coalesce into this major villain moving forward. And it was, I don't know, it was a good time.
I mean, it's a little bit more playful and sillier, a little bit more broad in terms of the whole factory sequence is kind of ridiculous, but just the tone of it when the family adopts Andy, the dad's like trying to talk about sushi. You like sushi, and then stops the car suddenly because the giant truck carrying all the Chucky dolls is in front of him.
Yeah.
And you see that reflected in the window. Like that's almost a Curb Your Enthusiasm joke. Like that's, this big awkward thing. So it's funnier in a lot of ways, but I think I like that because I saw the first one. It'd be fine. Like it's still fine. It's still good, but I just like that the tone has shifted and seeing them be able to successfully pull that off.
Yes. Yeah. Good stuff. I try not to read too much into this kind of thing, but from what I could tell, part 2 is heralded by Chucky fans as one of the better sequels. And I guess that does cause me a little bit of concern considering I hope it's not all downhill from here. Everybody's mileage can vary, but I know that this one is well regarded and I kind of like knowing that.
I mean, that happens a lot where the second one is like, hey, this was an improvement on the first one. Let's just screw that all up. Yeah. So we'll see if that continues or not. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm still very on board for these, and I'm definitely excited to dip into part 3. I watched part 3, I don't know, a few years ago for Fright Boys, I think, because I arbitrarily picked it. But I'm excited to watch part 3 again within context of having just watched the first 2. So
yeah, I don't know if I've seen. No, I don't think I've seen the third one.
Oh, exciting. Okay. We will remedy that. All right, everyone. What did you think of part 2? Did you like it better than part 1? Are you bracing for part 3? Or do you just want to hurry up and get to all the great campy stuff on the latter half? I mean, well, campier than this, I suppose. But for some reason, again, this is me just being not a big Chucky person in the past. I kind of look at that second half of the series as a little bit different than the first half, but we will see. I don't know enough about it yet, but I'm excited. So, all right, everyone, throw in part 3 and we will see you in a couple of weeks. Good night.
Good night.
This has been a Caretaker Press production. It was produced by James Strayer and edited by John C. Myers. Logo by Ethan Kimberling and music by Michael Arthur Holloway, who you can find on Bandcamp. Follow us on Instagram at thismayhurtabitpod and email us at thismayhurtabitpod@gmail.com. Give us a 5-star review over on your favorite podcast app, and we'll see you next time.